Your mind is a servant, not a master. It works for you, not against you. But most people live as if their subconscious mind is in control, dictating their actions, their emotions, and ultimately their destiny. They wake up every day running the same patterns, responding to the same fears, and reinforcing the same limitations. They think their thoughts are who they are, but that's the biggest illusion. The truth is, your subconscious mind is nothing more than a powerful machine, a processor that takes in information and executes based on the instructions it's given. It doesn't question, it doesn't analyze, it doesn't debate, it simply obeys. Whatever you feed it consistently, it takes as truth. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your subconscious doesn't argue. It just goes to work proving you right. It will filter out opportunities, push you towards self-sabotage, and make sure your reality matches your internal programming. But here's the breakthrough. If your subconscious mind can be programmed with limitations, it can also be reprogrammed for limitless potential. Think of it like software. If your current system is running outdated code full of doubt, fear, and hesitation, you don't argue with the code. You rewrite it, you install new empowering beliefs, you feed your mind with commands that align with the life you actually want to live. This isn't wishful thinking, it's how the brain works. Every thought you repeat becomes a neural pathway. Every belief you reinforce becomes a psychological truth. The problem is, most people are running on autopilot, letting their subconscious be programmed by the environment, by negative influences, by fear-driven media, by past failures. They don't even realize they're reinforcing a mental loop that's holding them back. They live as slaves to their own unexamined beliefs, never questioning whether those beliefs are even theirs to begin with. But the most successful people on the planet, the ones who create unstoppable momentum, they do one thing differently. They take conscious control of their subconscious. They don't just let any thoughts stick. They filter their mental diet with the same precision they would if they were fueling a high-performance machine, because that's exactly what the mind is. They guard their self-talk like a fortress, knowing that every word, every image, every experience is shaping their future. If you want to break free from limitations, you need to start commanding your mind with intention. You need to give it a clear, powerful message over and over again until it has no choice but to obey. You don't negotiate with doubt, you don't entertain hesitation, you override the old patterns by installing new ones with absolute certainty. This is why repetition is so powerful. When you declare something with conviction, when you visualize it so clearly that it feels real, your subconscious starts aligning your reality with that vision. It begins filtering the world differently. It starts spotting opportunities where others see obstacles. It starts generating solutions instead of excuses. And the more you reinforce this, the stronger that mental wiring becomes. But here's the catch. Your subconscious doesn't care whether you program it for success or failure. It will work just as hard to make you fail as it will to make you win. That's why so many people stay stuck. They unknowingly feed their minds a steady diet of limitations, not realizing they are the ones keeping themselves locked in place. They let negative thoughts run unchecked, reinforcing fears and doubts, and then wonder why nothing changes. Your subconscious is always listening, always adapting, always obeying. If you tell it you're not capable, it will find reasons to prove you right. But if you tell it you are unstoppable, if you declare with absolute certainty that you are in control, it will move mountains to make that belief your reality. Most people think change starts with external action, but it starts long before that. It starts in the mind. Your subconscious sets the ceiling for what's possible. It determines how much success, how much love, how much abundance you will allow yourself to experience. The good news, you can raise that ceiling. You can expand what's possible. But it won't happen by accident. It happens through deliberate, conscious, repeated programming. It happens by making the decision right now to take back control. Your life is a reflection of your patterns. The way you think, the way you react, the way you show up every single day. It's all determined by the subconscious programs running in the background of your mind. Most people don't even realize it. They wake up and repeat the same behaviors, the same routines, the same emotional responses, believing that's just who they are. But that's not who they are. It's just a set of conditioned patterns, running on autopilot, shaping their reality without them even being aware of it. The good news is that patterns can be reprogrammed. Just like a computer, your subconscious is wired to follow the instructions it's given. If you change the instructions, you change the output. But here's where most people go wrong. They try to force change at the conscious level without addressing the deeper programming that's actually running the show. They set goals, make resolutions, get fired up for a few days, but then the old patterns pull them right back. Why? Because willpower alone is not enough. You can't just force yourself to behave differently for a few days and expect permanent transformation. You have to go deeper. The key to lasting change is rewiring the subconscious at its core. That means identifying the patterns that are holding you back, disrupting them, and replacing them with new empowering ones. And that starts with awareness. You can't change what you're not aware of. Take a step back and look at your life. What are the recurring patterns? What are the habits, the beliefs, the emotional cycles that keep showing up? If you're constantly procrastinating, if you're always doubting yourself, if you keep attracting the same problems over and over again, that's not random. That's programming. Once you recognize the patterns, the next step is to break them. And the fastest way to do that is by interrupting them at the moment they occur. The mind is a creature of habit. If you do the same thing over and over again, it becomes automatic. But the moment you introduce a new response, something different, you create a gap. That gap is where change happens. Instead of reacting the same way, pause. Do something unexpected. Change your physiology. Stand up, move, take a deep breath. Shift your focus. Immediately replace the old thought with a new, more empowering one. Do it over and over again, and the old pattern starts losing its grip. But breaking the old pattern is just half the battle. You have to replace it with something stronger. Something that aligns with the results you actually want. The subconscious doesn't like a vacuum. It needs new instructions, new associations, new habits to latch onto. That's where repetition comes in. The same way the old patterns got installed through repetition, emotion, and experience is the same way new ones are built. If you want confidence, you have to reinforce it daily. If you want discipline, you have to program it into your identity. The more you repeat a new behavior, a new thought, a new way of being, the more natural it becomes. And let's be clear, this isn't just about positive thinking. This is about rewiring your entire nervous system to operate at a different level. The mind and body are connected. If you want to reprogram your patterns, you can't just sit there thinking about it. You have to embody it. Speak differently, move differently, act differently. Your subconscious responds to action, to emotion, to consistency. You don't just tell yourself you're confident, you show up in the world like someone who is. You don't just hope for change, you create it through relentless reinforcement. This is why people who experience massive transformations don't just change one thing, they change everything. They surround themselves with new influences, they shift their environment, they immerse themselves in new habits that reinforce the new identity they're stepping into. Because change isn't something you do once, it's something you condition into your mind and body until it becomes second nature. And once a new pattern is locked in, once it becomes your default mode, everything in your life shifts to reflect it. Emotions are the key to influence. Logic might inform people, but emotion moves them. Every breakthrough, every decision, every action you take is driven by how you feel, not just what you know. Look at the moments in your life when you made a real change. Was it because of a fact? Or was it because you felt something so deeply that you couldn't ignore it? People don't act because they understand, they act because they are emotionally compelled. Think about a time you wanted something badly. Maybe it was a goal, a dream, a relationship, a level of success. Did you get there through pure logic? Or did you get there because your emotions pushed you beyond your limits? Desire, frustration, excitement, determination, these are the forces that drive transformation. The problem is, most people let emotions control them, instead of learning how to control their emotions. They react instead of directing, they let fear dictate their choices, they let doubt hold them back, they let frustration drain them instead of fuel them. But those who understand the power of emotion know that it can be harnessed, it can be shaped, it can be used as a weapon to break through barriers and influence not just yourself, but everyone around you. If you want to influence people, if you want to lead, inspire, and create massive impact, you have to tap into emotion. Words alone are not enough. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's the energy behind it. People don't remember information. They remember how you made them feel. The most powerful speakers, leaders, and change makers don't just deliver messages. They ignite emotions. They make you feel their passion, their certainty, their conviction. That's why their words stick. That's why they create movements. They know that without emotion, there is no action. This isn't just about influencing others. It starts with influencing yourself. If you can't control your own emotional state, you can't control your results. Most people live at the mercy of their moods. They wake up feeling tired, so they move slowly. They face a setback, so they give up. They feel unmotivated, so they don't take action. But those who master influence know that emotion is a choice. You don't wait for motivation, you create it. You don't wait to feel confident, you step into it. You train your mind and body to generate the emotions that lead to action. Because once you can shift your emotions at will, nothing can stop you. One of the fastest ways to change your emotional state is through physiology. The way you move, breathe, and hold yourself directly impacts how you feel. Try slouching, taking shallow breaths, and looking down. How do you feel? Now, stand up tall, take deep breaths, move with energy. Immediately, your emotions shift. Your body tells your mind how to feel. That's why motion creates emotion. This is why the most influential people use movement, gestures, and tonality to create impact. They don't just stand there and talk, they engage their entire physiology to amplify their message. Another way to control emotion is by changing focus. What you focus on, you feel. If you constantly focus on what's missing, what's wrong, what could go wrong, you will feel fear, doubt, and hesitation. But if you focus on possibility, on progress, on what you can control, you create a completely different emotional experience. The most successful people don't have fewer problems, they just focus differently. They train their minds to see solutions where others see obstacles. They focus on empowering meanings instead of disempowering ones. They decide that every challenge is fuel, every failure is a lesson, and every moment is an opportunity to grow. The third key to mastering emotion is language. The words you use don't just describe your emotions, they create them. If you tell yourself, "I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stuck," your mind and body will respond accordingly. But if you shift your language, if you say, "I'm fired up, I'm in control, I'm making progress," your entire physiology changes. The words you choose shape your reality. That's why the best influencers use powerful, compelling language that evokes strong emotions. They don't just say, "This is important," they say, "This will change your life." They don't just say, "Take action," they say, "This is your moment." Because they know that the right words delivered with the right energy create unstoppable momentum. At the core of influence is certainty. When you speak with absolute certainty, people feel it. When you act with certainty, your mind believes it. Certainty is what overrides fear, doubt, and hesitation. It's what makes people trust you. It's what makes your own subconscious follow through. And certainty is built through repetition by conditioning the right emotions over and over again until they become your default state. Because once you own your emotions, you own your life. Visualization and affirmations work, but only if you feel them. Most people misunderstand this. They think saying a few positive words in the mirror or picturing success for a few minutes will magically change their life. It won't. Because your subconscious mind doesn't respond to words alone. It responds to emotions. It responds to certainty. It responds to what you believe at a deep, unshakable level. If you just repeat empty phrases without conviction, if you visualize a goal without truly experiencing it in your mind and body, you're wasting your time. You have to feel it as if it's already real. You have to see it, hear it, breathe it, live it before it happens. Only then will your subconscious accept it as truth and begin working to make it your reality. Every great achiever, every high performer, every person who has accomplished something extraordinary has used this principle, whether they were aware of it or not. They didn't just hope for success, they saw it before it happened. They felt the victory before it was real. They convinced their mind and body that it was already done. And because their subconscious accepted that vision, their actions, behaviors, and decisions followed in alignment. That's why they showed up differently. That's why they took massive action. That's why they stayed relentless in the face of obstacles, because in their mind, Success was not a possibility, it was a certainty. Your mind doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something real. If you close your eyes and picture yourself standing at the edge of a cliff, looking down at the drop, feeling the wind against your face, hearing the rush of air below, you'll feel your heart race. Your palms might even start sweating. Why? Because your mind and body believe it's happening, even though you're standing safely in a room. The same principle applies to success. If you can see it with enough intensity, if you can feel the emotions of achievement before it happens, your subconscious will accept it as reality. And when your subconscious believes it, your external world starts to shift to match that belief. But most people visualize the wrong way. They don't picture success, they picture failure. They don't imagine themselves winning, they imagine all the ways they could lose. And the more they focus on those fears, the more real they become. They replay past mistakes, they dwell on worst-case scenarios, they flood their subconscious with doubt, and then they wonder why they stay stuck. Your mind is always visualizing something. The question is, are you directing it or are you letting it run wild? Are you feeding it visions of power, success, and certainty, or are you reinforcing limitations? The key is to engage all your senses when you visualize. Don't just see the goal. Step inside the experience. Hear the sounds, feel the emotions, smell the air, taste the victory. If you want to be on stage speaking to thousands, don't just imagine the audience. Feel the heat of the lights, hear the roar of applause, feel the energy in your body. If you want to achieve financial success, don't just think about money, picture yourself living in that reality. How does it feel to wake up in complete freedom? How does it feel to make decisions without financial stress? The more real you make it, the more your subconscious will believe it. And affirmations? They are powerful, but only if you say them with absolute certainty. If you just recite words like a robot, your subconscious will reject them. But if you say them with emotion, with intensity, with full conviction, they become commands to your nervous system. Instead of saying, I am successful in a monotone voice, say it with power. Say it like you believe it. Say it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. Every time you declare something with certainty, you are reprogramming your subconscious to accept it as truth. But here's the key. Affirmations and visualization alone won't change your life. They are the starting point, not the finish line. You still have to back them up with action. When you visualize success, your mind will start to create opportunities, but you have to act on them. When you affirm your strength, your confidence, your resilience, your mind will give you the energy to push forward. But you have to take the steps. The combination of belief and action is what creates unstoppable momentum. Because when your mind and body are aligned, nothing can stop you. Taking massive action is the ultimate test of mindset. You can read all the books, listen to all the motivational speeches, and visualize success every single day. But if you don't take relentless action, nothing changes. Your mindset isn't built by what you say you'll do, it's built by what you actually do. Action is what transforms belief into certainty. Action is what conditions your subconscious mind to accept new standards. Action is what separates people who dream from people who achieve. Most people hesitate. They wait for the perfect moment. They tell themselves they need more preparation, more confidence, more certainty before they start. But that's the biggest lie. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes because of action. Certainty doesn't show up before you take the leap, it's created in the process. The only way to break through fear, doubt, or hesitation is by taking action so aggressively that there's no room for those emotions to exist. When you act boldly, when you move with unstoppable energy, your subconscious mind adapts. It starts to see you as someone who follows through, someone who makes things happen, someone who doesn't wait for permission. That's when everything shifts. Massive action doesn't mean doing a little more than yesterday. It doesn't mean dipping your toe in and testing the waters. It means going all in. It means taking steps so big that they force you to grow into a new version of yourself. If your goal is to be in peak physical shape, going to the gym twice a week isn't massive action. Training with intensity every single day, pushing past your limits and fueling your body like an athlete, that's massive action. If your goal is to build a successful business, reading about marketing strategies isn't massive action. Putting yourself in the game, making offers, building relationships, and adjusting relentlessly until you win, that's massive action. The reason massive action is so powerful is that it creates momentum. The hardest part of anything is getting started, but once you start moving at full speed, nothing can stop you. The problem is most people never build enough momentum because they operate with hesitation. They take one step forward, then second guess themselves. They try something for a few days, then slow down when they don't see instant results. But those who succeed understand one thing: consistency is what compounds results. One day of massive action won't change your life, but months of relentless execution will. The more you push forward without hesitation, the more unstoppable you become. Action also rewires your identity. If you want to change how you see yourself, change what you do every day. If you see yourself as someone who struggles financially, start acting like someone who is financially free. Study, strategize, make bold moves. If you see yourself as someone who lacks confidence, put yourself in uncomfortable situations until confidence becomes natural. Your identity isn't fixed, it's shaped by your actions. Every time you take a step beyond your comfort zone, you reinforce a new version of yourself. Another key to taking massive action is speed. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. Every second you spend thinking about what you should do is another second your mind has to come up with reasons why you shouldn't. Overthinking is the killer of progress. The most successful people don't wait until they feel ready. They take action before they're ready. They trust that they will figure things out along the way. Because action leads to clarity. Action leads to breakthroughs. You don't get the perfect plan and then execute. You execute and the perfect plan reveals itself in the process. It guarantees learning. It guarantees that you will be further ahead than the person who is still sitting there thinking about what to do. The people who achieve extraordinary things in life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who failed the most and kept moving. They understand that failure is just data. It's feedback. It's a necessary part of the process. And the faster you fail, the faster you learn. The faster you learn, the faster you succeed. Massive action also eliminates fear. Fear thrives in inaction. When you sit still, when you hesitate, when you let thoughts of doubt creep in, fear grows stronger. But when you move, when you take bold steps, when you throw yourself into the fire, fear has no space to exist. Your mind is too focused on execution. Your energy is too locked in on progress. That's why action is the most powerful antidote to fear. You can't think your way out of fear. You have to act your way through it. The moment you decide to operate with massive action is the moment you take control of your destiny. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. You stop waiting and start leading. Because in the end, nothing happens until you move. Nothing changes until you act. Nothing transforms until you push beyond what's comfortable and step into the version of yourself that refuses to be stopped. Your subconscious mind is always listening. Every thought you entertain, every word you speak, and every belief you reinforce gets absorbed into the depths of your mind. It doesn't question whether something is good or bad for you. It simply takes in what you feed it and turns it into reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you'll never succeed, that life is unfair, your subconscious will accept these ideas as truth and shape your experiences to match them. On the other hand, if you consistently affirm your potential, focus on solutions instead of problems, and cultivate a mindset of success, your subconscious will align with that reality and push you toward it. Think about it. Your subconscious is like a sponge, soaking up everything from your environment, your emotions, your self-talk, and the beliefs you hold, even the ones you picked up unconsciously from childhood. The words you repeatedly say to yourself become commands that your subconscious obeys without question. If you say, "I'm terrible at remembering names," your subconscious registers it as an instruction and ensures you struggle with names. If you tell yourself, "I always find a way," your subconscious accepts that too and helps you find solutions even in the most challenging situations. Your subconscious is working around the clock even when you're asleep. Ever had an idea suddenly pop into your mind while you were taking a shower or right before you fell asleep? That's your subconscious doing its job. It processes information at an incredible speed, connects dots you didn't even know existed, and presents you with insights when you least expect them. That's why some of the most brilliant minds in history, from Einstein to Tesla, relied on their subconscious to bring them breakthroughs. They understood that the subconscious is the ultimate problem solver, always running in the background, piecing things together while the conscious mind is busy with daily tasks. The subconscious mind doesn't just react to your thoughts, it also responds to the emotions behind them. The stronger the emotion attached to a thought, the deeper it gets ingrained. That's why traumatic events can shape a person's entire belief system. If a child is repeatedly told they are not good enough, they may carry that belief into adulthood, affecting their confidence, relationships, and career. But here's the thing, beliefs are not facts. They are simply ideas we have accepted as truth. And just as the subconscious absorbs negative beliefs, it can also absorb empowering ones. You have the ability to reprogram your subconscious by feeding it new, powerful, and uplifting messages. This is why repetition is key. If you want to change the way your subconscious operates, you have to flood it with new instructions. Affirmations, visualization, and surrounding yourself with positive influences all help rewire your subconscious. When you consistently tell yourself, I am capable, I am strong, I create my own success, your subconscious begins to adopt these beliefs and act accordingly. But it's not just about words, it's about conviction. You have to feel it, believe it, and act in alignment with it. Your subconscious is also deeply influenced by the people around you. If you spend time with individuals who complain, make excuses, and focus on problems, your subconscious will absorb that mindset. But if you surround yourself with people who think big, push limits, and refuse to settle, your subconscious will start mirroring that energy. This is why successful people make it a point to be in environments that challenge and inspire them. They know that what their subconscious absorbs will shape their future. Another key factor that impacts your subconscious is visualization. When you vividly imagine your goals as already achieved, your subconscious registers it as reality and starts finding ways to make it happen. Athletes, entrepreneurs, and high achievers use visualization as a tool to program their subconscious for success. They see themselves winning before they even step onto the field, delivering a perfect speech before they take the stage, or closing a massive deal before they walk into the meeting. This mental rehearsal primes the subconscious to create the right conditions for success. Your subconscious mind doesn't argue with you, it simply takes instructions. Whether those instructions lead you toward greatness or hold you back depends entirely on what you feed it. If you repeatedly dwell on failure, fear, and doubt, your subconscious will shape your reality around those thoughts. But if you consciously choose to focus on strength, resilience, and unstoppable belief, your subconscious will work tirelessly to bring that vision to life. Repetition creates reality. Whatever you consistently tell yourself, whatever you repeatedly do, whatever beliefs you reinforce over and over again, your subconscious mind takes it all in and turns it into your truth. It doesn't matter if what you're feeding it is good for you or holding you back, your subconscious doesn't judge. It simply listens, absorbs, and acts on it. This is why repetition is one of the most powerful forces shaping your life. Every action you take, every thought you entertain, every word you speak programs your subconscious, and over time, these repeated patterns become your identity, your habits, and ultimately, your reality. Look at anyone who has mastered a skill, built a successful business, or achieved something extraordinary. It wasn't luck, and it wasn't a one-time event. It was repetition, consistent action, repeated thoughts, reinforced beliefs. The greatest athletes in the world don't practice a move once and expect mastery. They drill it over and over, refining every motion, every technique, until their body and mind know it so well that it becomes automatic. The best speakers don't deliver one great speech and suddenly become world-class. They practice, rehearse, tweak, and repeat until their words flow effortlessly. The most successful entrepreneurs don't stumble upon success by accident. They cultivate winning habits, take action every single day, and repeat the process until it produces results. Your mind works the same way. Every thought you repeat is training your subconscious to believe and act in alignment with it. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, you reinforce that belief until your subconscious accepts it as reality. If you wake up every morning and declare, I am unstoppable, and you repeat it with conviction, your subconscious begins shaping your actions and mindset around that belief. This is why negative self-talk is so dangerous. Most people don't even realize they are conditioning their subconscious to hold them back. Every time they say, I can't do this, "I always mess things up," or "I'll never be successful." They are reinforcing those limitations until they become deeply ingrained. Repetition isn't just about words, it's about behaviors too. Your daily habits are a reflection of what you repeatedly do. If you train your body to wake up early, exercise, and focus on productivity, over time that becomes your natural rhythm. But if you repeatedly hit snooze, procrastinate, and make excuses, that becomes your reality as well. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition, and once a pattern is established, it runs on autopilot. This is why bad habits are so hard to break. They have been reinforced so many times that your subconscious sees them as normal. But here's the good news. Just as repetition can create negative patterns, it can also be used to create powerful, life-changing habits. Neuroscience has proven that repetition strengthens neural pathways in the brain. The more you think a certain thought, the more you do a certain action, the stronger that neural connection becomes. Over time, what once felt difficult or unnatural becomes second nature. This is why successful people train their minds through repetition. They don't just think about success occasionally, they immerse themselves in it every day. They affirm their goals, visualize their achievements, and take action consistently. They understand that their subconscious will accept whatever they feed it, and they use repetition as a tool to shape their reality. Visualization is one of the most powerful ways to use repetition to create reality. When you repeatedly see yourself succeeding, your subconscious starts believing it. Athletes have been using this technique for decades. They visualize making the perfect shot, crossing the finish line first, or executing a flawless routine. By repeating these mental images, they train their subconscious to make it happen. The same principle applies to any goal. When you see yourself winning every single day, your subconscious aligns your actions to make that vision real. Repetition also plays a crucial role in overcoming fear and self-doubt. Fear is nothing more than a conditioned response, something you've repeated in your mind so many times that your subconscious has accepted it as truth. The way to break free is to override it with new, empowering beliefs. If you've spent years telling yourself, "I'm not confident," you need to start repeating, "I am powerful and confident," every single day until your subconscious starts accepting it. At first, it might feel forced. Your mind might resist, but with enough repetition, it will sink in, and one day you'll realize that confidence is no longer something you're trying to create. It has become who you are. Success, confidence, resilience, discipline, none of these happen by accident. They are built through consistent repetition. The words you say, the thoughts you focus on, the actions you take day after day, that's what creates your reality. If you want to change your life, you must take control of what you are repeatedly reinforcing. Because whether you realize it or not, repetition is shaping you every single day. Your life is a direct reflection of the thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, and the actions you take. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mind. Your mind is not your master, it is your tool. It will carry out whatever instructions you give it, reinforcing the habits, emotions, and outcomes that you allow to dominate your existence. The real question is, are you consciously shaping your future, or are you allowing old patterns, fears, and limitations to dictate your destiny? Understand this. Your subconscious mind does not care whether you succeed or stay stuck. It does not discriminate between thoughts that serve you and those that hinder you. It simply obeys. If you have been running on autopilot, reinforcing the same cycles of doubt, hesitation, and fear, then today is the day you break free. Today is the day you take command. But awareness alone is meaningless without action. Knowing you need to change will do nothing for you if you remain passive. The strongest mindset in the world is useless if it is not followed by massive, relentless, and intentional action. Success does not come to those who wait. It does not favor those who hesitate. It is seized by those who step forward with unwavering determination, by those who refuse to be defined by their past, by those who act in spite of fear. Ask yourself, what are you waiting for? A perfect moment, the right opportunity, the approval of others? Stop waiting. Life is happening right now. Every second you hesitate is a second you will never get back. Your dreams do not respond to excuses. Your goals do not care about your fears. The only thing that matters is what you do. Every thought, every belief, and every action is either moving you closer to the life you want or keeping you trapped where you are. There is no neutral ground. So what will you choose? Will you continue to let doubt, fear, and hesitation control you, or will you step forward with absolute certainty and claim the life you were meant to live? Reprogram your thoughts, take ownership of your emotions, move with purpose, act with urgency. When you do, you won't just change your mindset, you will redefine your entire reality. You have the power to create a life beyond what you ever thought possible, but that power means nothing if you don't use it. So use it. Step into your strength. Take control of your destiny. Do what needs to be done, not tomorrow, not later, but right now. Because once you take full ownership of your life, once you realize that success is not about waiting, hoping, or wishing, but about doing, nothing will ever be the same again. You are limitless. Now prove it.